Hey, this is James Spann. This is the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Monday, the 18th of August. What's the deal with Faye? How will that impact Alabama? A lot of questions. Let's see if we can dig up some answers here. Let's go to some Skycam shots around the network early this morning. And the weather across our state is relatively calm at this point. There's a look at the Birmingham Skycam looking north from the top of the Daniel building. Up in Walker County, that's the view from the King building. And across the street there, that's the side of the Walker County Courthouse. And up in the Tennessee Valley, that's a look at the Decatur Skycam in Morgan County. Well, that's where we stand this morning. Of course, Faye is seen down there below Florida, sitting on the coast of Cuba, over western Cuba. And around here, we've got this surface front over the central part of the state. Below that front, there will be the chance of showers and storms today in scattered spots. North of that front, the day should be generally dry. I really think from Birmingham north, no rain, or if anything does flare, it's going to be very isolated. And then once you get south of Montgomery, you'll see a few scattered showers and storms around. And, of course, as the days progress this week, the weather will be greatly impacted by Faye one way or the other, whether it's wet or dry. The QPF graphic, obviously the guys at HPC are riding with the Hurricane Center track, and that's going to keep the heaviest rain along and east of the center, or basically east of a line from near Tallahassee to Augusta, Georgia, and up to Asheville, North Carolina. That's suggesting along and east of that line, rainfall amounts of, well, as high as 9.2 inches over the southern tip of Florida around Miami, with amounts near 6 inches around Orlando and Jacksonville. And notice Alabama is in a relative minimum, and then you go back off to the west, you've got some really good rains over Texas, and it could work out to be that way. This is valid through Friday evening at 7 o'clock. Well, here's the latest on Faye, and you can see that the center is becoming a little, or the convection is becoming somewhat elongated, and it's been on a perfect track to keep this thing weak. It's been interacting with Hispaniola and Cuba, and that's a good thing for Florida. It just has not had time to get its act together because of the land issues, and it certainly could be a minimal hurricane at the time of landfall, but it looks more and more like the main impact of this will be heavy rain and the potential for flooding. The models are finally beginning to agree with the Hurricane Center track, and we're getting some better consistency. The models this weekend have been all over the road. This is the 06Z set, and you can see a pretty good consensus now coming up toward Tampa Bay, with the system remaining inland over Georgia and perhaps continuing north up into eastern Tennessee. And remember, the better rain will be along and east of the center. Alabama's on the dry side. And if that's the case in terms of direct impact, rain, not much at all here, if any. But the GFS presents an interesting solution you'll see in a moment. There's the official track from the Hurricane Center, and it's got it coming in as a minimal hurricane below Tampa Bay, really about the point where Charlie came in, around Punta Gorda, Florida, and then moving up to near Orlando and up into the southeastern states around Augusta, Georgia, late this week, Thursday night, and then finally kind of dying out around Asheville, North Carolina, late Friday night. And once again, the greatest rain on that track will be well to the east of here. Let's look at the GFS and see what we've got here. Oh, but one note here, the westerly winds will be increasing around that thing aloft, the shearing, and again, that's the reason we don't think this will be some hurricane that explodes rapidly. Could it? Yes. Hey, with anything, with any tropical system, anything goes. We know that. But I think the logic on the board is that this will be mainly a big rain producer. I don't think you'll see a lot of damage from this in terms of structural damage in Florida, which is good. Now, the GFS, this is where we are at 1 o'clock today. You can see the trough over the northeast that's helping to turn this thing north. That vortmax still shows up over the Texas Panhandle. Below all of that today, the deeper moisture across Alabama will be down south. And again, really from Birmingham north, I think most areas dry. And you can see Faye beginning to move off the coast of Cuba. Tomorrow, Faye moves into southwest Florida. Again, around the point where Hurricane Charlie came in a few years ago, below Tampa Bay. And again, notice that North Alabama relatively dry. Same deal here. Wednesday, Faye on the GFS. And remember, this is modeling. This is all this is. This is not any forecast. This is raw computer model output. It's got Faye just below Jacksonville, really not too far from Daytona Beach, with the worst of the wind and rain maybe offshore at this point, then wrapping back up into the coast of Georgia and the Carolinas. And around here, the moisture not all that impressive. And remember, on the edge of big hurricanes, you've got the subsidence ring, the sinking air. I don't think this will be that strong to really produce a lot of downward motion, but again, rain Wednesday would not look to be a big deal here. Here's the NAM on Wednesday, by the way, North American Mesoscale model. It's got Alabama bone dry with Faye over Florida. Thursday, the GFS begins to stall the thing out just east of Jacksonville. And then Friday, look at the 594 circle over New England. A big old ridge develops north of this thing. And down below that, what does it do in response to that? Well, it begins to back up and move west on the GFS. It's still near Jacksonville. And again, Alabama with not much rain here. That's the theme throughout this week on this model run, is that the rain chances here will not be all that high. And then Saturday, by golly, it's got the thing moving across Florida back into the Gulf. Are you kidding me? Sunday, it's moving southwest. It's due south of Pensacola. A week from today, Monday of next week, it's due south of New Orleans. And then Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, it begins to move north, right up toward the central Gulf Coast. And on August the 27th, it moves up into the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Could this be the storm that never goes away? Now, let's just say that this is somewhat of an outlier, and there's a good chance this idea will go away on the next run. I honestly am not convinced this is right, but it's just an interesting thought. There's a reasonable chance Faye is going to die inland over the Carolinas and not do this. And then on the 2nd of September, the end of the forecast period, boy, it looks pretty warm, doesn't it? And it can be warm here in September, no doubt about that. But it's nice just saying that word. It just feels like fall. A dying front coming in here and another tropical system on the north coast of Cuba. So as you can see, looks like the tropics will be quite active for a while. That's it for the Weather Extreme video this morning. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 3:30 or so this afternoon. And, of course, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 News at 5, 6, and 10. Again, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.